Good morning. We gather together and sing our opening hymn, Loving and Forgiving, number 654. We will sing verses 1 and 2. And again, the number is 654. Today, we welcome all of you present here in the Clare Chapel, those joining us on in-house live stream, and those who are joining us who live further away with the benefit of live stream. Today, we honor and remember Sister Lois Friedman, who has passed from our midst. As we gather to reflect, we could say that her life was as multifaceted as a diamond. She was a teacher from the elementary through college levels. She achieved her doctorate degree in English. She served as a vice chancellor, and she also lived in a hermitage for 2 years. Upon her retirement, Sister Lois shared that her favorite mission was expressing her passion for diversity while working with a predominantly Black student base at the State College in North Carolina. Brilliantly intelligent, she was a voracious reader and a gifted writer. She lived gracefully in her later years of diminishment here at Clare House. We who were with her here will cherish fondly the memory of receiving her beautiful smile, a hug, and "I love you" from her. We love you too, Sister Lois.
This is taken from Love Poems from God by Daniel Lazinski. Admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, "Love me." Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear?
And we are dying to hear your memories of Sister Lois. She may be remembered as our first death due to the COVID virus. However, there are many other memories which we will share at this time. Please state your name before sharing your memory for those who are watching. Please raise your hand. We will bring the microphone and hold it for you. And stand if you are comfortable.
Marge Burkle. I remember the day Lois arrived at Mount St. Francis to retire. A truck came and it was full of books. And we scrambled to find bookcases to put in her room. She resided on 3rd floor Main, and we got her the largest room that was available. And her room was full of books and bookcases. When she moved to Holy Family Hall, that was a real letting go for her. She had to decide what books she was going to take with her. And again, every little corner that there could be a book, you found 5 or 6 books. And so the stripping continued then when she moved to Clare House, and she had again to decide kind of what book she was going to take, and it was a real letting go for her. So her life was just filled with so many ways of knowledge, and she loved every book that she had in her possession.
Sister Bev Eichler. Lois was a part of our area group when we were in North Carolina, because she was teaching there at that time. And she would come to our area groups very prepared with all kinds of homemade soup. And it was so good, we enjoyed it. And she always had great things to tell us about the students that she was teaching.
I remind you again, please do not touch the microphone. Okay.
Last summer, I spent several weeks up on 2 North, and for breakfast, I was usually at the table with Lois. And so I would talk to her and tell her the news and things. And some days, she would perk up, her eyes would shine, and she would talk a blue streak. I had no idea what she was saying, but I would smile at her and shake my head, and she would keep on, and I thought, wouldn't it be a treasure if I actually knew what is the wisdom she's sharing. Sister Camilla Heeman, I don't know if Lois had music education or whatever, but when I first moved here in 2015 and I was come over here for services, oftentimes I sat in that front row over there and we'd be singing and I'd always hear someone humming. And then Sister Arnold might be playing a postlude or something before we started. Someone was always humming exactly what she was playing. And sometimes, like, she really knew what it was all about, and she'd be a note or two ahead humming it. One day, Joan Stoffel was sitting behind, and I said, "Where is that music coming from?" She said, "That's Sister Lois. She sings along all the time, but she really couldn't sing, but she was always humming." And so I went to Sister Arnold later, and I said, "Don't ever think your music doesn't mean something, because we never know what's going on in our brains when we feel like and know like we cannot express ourselves out here." She was expressing herself, and I heard that over and over those first years. Thank you.
I'm Michelle Waters, and I have 3 memories that were sent in to share. The first is from Sister Michaela Galis. "My name is Michaela, and Lois's name was Rafaela. Michaela and Rafaela, we were known as the Angels. And we were both cord makers. That was a big job, to make the cords well. So we spent a lot of time together in the novitiate. We got to know each other well during that time. Since we went our separate ways and in our separate ministries, we did not have much time together since novitiate. But I remember every time Ruth Agnes would come roaring into Helen Marie's office, the door would shut, and we knew there was another crisis. The second memory is from Sister Mary Lou Reich. Lois, Shirley Commence, and I were the last 3 of our class to enter the convent in 1954. That made us locker neighbors in novitiate. So it was easy to become friends. Lois was a warm, friendly person who also enjoyed good stories and had a delightful laugh and winning smile. Though she was a professional in her teaching career, whether at a grade school or university, and worked for a time for the IRS, she remained a woman who was genuinely welcoming and inclusive. And even in these last years of dementia, Lois seemed to recognize me and accepted hugs as she patted me on the back. Yesterday, I prayed to our classmate, Sister Catherine Fitzpatrick, to hurry Lois home. Thank you. This third memory is from Lois's brother, Joe Friedman. There were 8 children in the Friedman family. Birth years ranged from 1921 to 1940. The 3 youngest, were Lois, Joe, and Carol. We came along in 1936, 1938, and 1940. We were like the Three Musketeers, always doing things together. Lois, being the older and much taller than me and Carol, felt that this gave her the right to set the rules and make all of the decisions. Well, that usually didn't agree with me, and I would let her know. That was a big mistake on my part. She, being much taller, would always hit me on top of the head. Every time she did that, I think I lost an inch of height. I ended up being 5'10" tall. But with all of our disagreements and hits on the head, I probably would have been at least 6'2". As we got older, everything changed for the better, and the three of us became very close. The remaining 3 Friedmans are sad to hear of her passing, but are happy to know that she is now with Almighty God and the rest of her family.
Sister Mary Kleistert, I remembered that we had met Sister at a monument, but I couldn't put it all together. But I called, first of all, Janet Kreber, and she said, you call Mary Lou Reich. She's got a better memory about it. We went to Washington, D.C., the 3 of us plus Verna, so there were 4, to work at So Others Might Eat. And we thought we should take a little trip. So we went to find out where John F. Kennedy's grave was. And all of a sudden, there was Lois. She was so pleased to see us, and she said, we have to meet again. But needless to say, we didn't meet again, but we had a good time when we were together.
Thank you so much for sharing these memories of Sister Lois's life, which we will continue to do as the days go on. Our closing prayer. Divine source of hope, Sister Lois is gone now from this earthly dwelling. May we be inspired to live our lives fully, utilizing and sharing all of our given gifts by God, thus returning them in full measure. We trust in the promise of God, which is eternal joy, and that we will all be together with her once again. In conclusion, we sing Loving and Forgiving, and the number again is number 654. At this time, we will sing verses 3 and 4, number 654.